Looking back on the weekend, looking back tonight, because I'm looking back, I'm looking back, I'm looking back on some videos that nobody cares about anymore, except for me and like 5 other people. I'm going to be looking back on my Megadeth album reviews. Oh, yeah, it's been a long time since the rock and roll. Oh, fuck, that's some good shit. Alright, Maidenslave here, talking to you guys about my Megadeth reviews that I did about a year ago now. About a year ago now! I've been around for a long... Hold on. I locked my door, sorry. Didn't want any strangers walking in as I'm doing. Anyways, about a year ago now. It's been a very long time. Megadeth was one of the first bands that I actually took on after Iron Maiden, and a lot of truths are going to come out in this whole video today. I know it's going to be a long one, but consider this to be like a coming out Oprah show situation and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and be honest and say Megadeth was the first band that I reviewed in a discography form that I really had no idea about. I mean, I was very aware of their first couple of albums, and I was still kind of getting into them, but for the rest of their discography, I was completely ignorant to it. However, I did get help from a friend. You guys might know about him. His name is Dragonite John. Yes, he was a huge Megadeth fan before me. And in a funny, weird way, we kind of actually co-wrote a lot of these album reviews. I mean, I did the comedy, he did the facts and the good opinions and stuff like that. It wasn't all him. Pretty much what I would do is I would listen to a Megadeth album, and then I would talk to him about it. I'd run it by him, you know, some of the things that I should say, some of the things that I shouldn't say. He even corrected me in a few of my videos that I showed him before, which I'll get to throughout this video, that I had to go back and edit. It's a good thing I showed him a few of those, and then a few things... either I didn't show him the video, or he didn't catch it, because I did mess up a few times. So Megadeth is the first time I reviewed a band I didn't know anything about. So anyways, let's just fucking get straight into it, because this is going to be long. Kill 'Em All is a very long video. It's very actually similar to... did I say Kill 'Em All? Because I'm thinking about Kill 'Em All. Killing is my business. Same shit, right? Ooh! Very similar to the Kill 'Em All review, because it's like, I think 15 minutes, plus I'm wearing the same shirt. I think I did it in the same day. No, I didn't. I didn't do it the same day. Maybe, I don't know. I think I did it the same day as Show No Mercy. I went over a lot of history, pretty much. That's it. And really the only thing I can remember from that is drink coffee, and I was totally kissing ass to Megadeth fans, because I said, you know, I had the pleasure to talk about Megadeth today, Metalladeth, and I described Dave Mustaine's riffs as lightning bolts, and I stand behind that, and I stand behind the score that I gave to Killing Is My Business, and business is good. Overall, good review. I was pretty damn happy with it. Obviously, it's a lot longer than anything I would do these days, except for a lot of the shit I've been doing lately, which completely contradicts what I just said. Anyways, moving on to Peace Sells, but who's buying? Yeah, this is a popular review of mine. And this is actually one of the reviews that I completely fucked up, and luckily I showed it to John, and then he called me a faggot and said, "You're completely wrong." It was about the artwork. I was completely wrong about the artwork. I described the artwork as an old, like, Soviet Russia nuclear thing after it got destroyed, something like that, but it's clearly just the United Abominations. I mean, the picture itself is a ripoff of 2 Minutes to Midnight single by Iron Maiden. He corrected me on that one. So if you guys watch it back, you can see a cut when I'm talking about the artwork, where I'm talking about it, and then all of a sudden I mention Vic Rattlehead chilling on the sign. Magic of editing, ladies and gentlemen, that, you know, I wasn't looked at like a retard. Now, the funny thing about that video was the fact that I completely ignored, I ain't superstitious, and I give it a 10 out of 10, and then I came back and then I whined. Some people said I was a good actor, which is hilarious because I'm not a good actor at all. But anyways, I will say that I did not plan that out. I've gotten questions. I've gotten questions about that little bit. I didn't write it out. It was ad lib, you know, and yeah, that's it. You know, it's when I was going through the track listing, I had such a positive energy because I like the album so much. It was similar to like my Brave New World review where I have a lot of positive energy. I'm very like, you know, it's very positive instead of very like, you know, this sucks. That I literally halfway through I was like, I'll skip it and then I'll give it a 10 out of 10, leave, walk back in, whine about it, and so that's what I did, and it ended up being really funny. It's still to this day one of my favorite reviews that I've ever done. Next review is I gave it a 9.5. I don't regret it. Next review is So Far So Good, So What, and I like this review. Some people didn't like this review because I gave it not a very low score. I gave it an 8, but for the same reason that a lot of Metallica fans didn't like the fact that I gave Injustice and All for All an 8. A lot of Megadeth fans didn't like the fact that I gave So Far So Good, So What an 8 because they think that it's better. And it's a good album and everything, whatever, but I stand by my score. I'm telling you right now, I absolutely stand by my score. I like that album a lot. I didn't express how much I liked it at the time because usually when I'm doing a review, I usually tend to gravitate towards some kind of an angle, whether, you know, it's like all the bad stuff comes out or all the good stuff comes out. And I did mention some good things, but for the most part, it was pretty negative, I guess. And actually, that was one of the times when Dragonite John didn't agree with me. I told him the score, I told him what I thought, and he said, fuck you. I hung up the phone and I recorded it, and he didn't like it. And he literally disliked it as soon as I posted it. That's fine. Funny and everything. Rest in peace. Here we go. I think this is my most popular Megadeth review at this point. Obviously, you know, it's Rest in Peace. And then there was, you know, me doing the weird thing where I walk across, I'm eating ramen noodles and shit. That's ramen noodles, by the way, for those of you who are wondering, in a fucking oddly huge bowl, which probably means that I was struggling with money because I was eating a lot of ramen noodles instead of real food. And I said it smells like a 10 out of 10 in here. That was when I was like kind of obsessed with walking by. I did it on my like a Bruce review and a Blaze review. Nobody knows about that because nobody ever watched those videos, but I did when I just walked by and I would say something random before the review. And the review was really good. I enjoyed doing it because I was so surprised at how much I liked the album, how much more I liked the album, how much I thought the album was perfect. I really did, and to this day I still think it's perfect. A couple things though. Number one, it was definitely too long, even for me back then. Man, it was really, really long. But I realized that back in the day, I used to do an intro, I used to do a track by track, and then I would do an outro. Eventually, I think over time, I cut out the outro, and then obviously I cut out the track by track, which made my videos a lot shorter. That's why my videos were so long, and then they went, you know, down to pretty average length. But I did make one huge error in that review, of which I will admit now. I played around with a few people a few times. It's glaring, though. It really is glaring. I said that on Dawn Patrol, Dave Ellefson, Dave Jr., David Ellefson, did the vocals, because I honestly thought at the time that he did. It wasn't even a question. For some reason, I didn't even want to go Google it. I was so sure that it was him. But now listening back, I could totally tell it's Mustaine. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I was kind of a Megadeth noob at the time, so I don't think I even ran that shit by Dragonite John now that I think about it, because I was so sure of it at the time that I didn't even run it by him. And he never mentioned anything about it, but people did mention, and if you go look at the comments, people were like, dude, it was Dave that sang it, and I played around with him. I was like, I know it's Dave. Get it? Dave Mustaine. But I went back and watched the video pretty recently, and clearly I said Dave Ellefson. Big mistake. There, I admit it. It's there. I'm not going to go back and change it. I'm not going to do anything. It is what it is, and that's what it is, right? Okay. Countdown to Extinction, the album that changed my fucking life. Up until this point, I thought that Countdown to Extinction was a Black Album clone. I think I mentioned that on my Countdown review. Actually, I think I said that other people thought that, but that's complete bullshit because I thought that. And I guess some people do think that, people who like the Black Album. I actually thought that these albums were so similar that on my Fear the Dark review, the original take, for the people who saw that original video a long time ago before I edited it, when I said that Fear the Dark is similar to the Black Album, I also said similar to something like the Black Album and Countdown to Extinction. And yeah, that's how much I thought it was bad. Turns out it's one of my favorite Megadeth albums now. It's one of my favorite albums in general. It's just amazing. It has the golden lineup, all that stuff. But anyways, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the review. The review was good. I was very happy with the review. I was very happy that I caught myself before I jumped into, kind of a prejudiced opinion. I'm glad that I was open to it. I try to be open as much as I possibly can. I don't know at what point I realized that this album was just fantastic. I think it was like the solo section during High Speed Dirt where it really hit me how amazing this album is. I'm glad that I gave it a 9, and I'm glad that I cleared up the whole, in case anybody was thinking, it's like the Black Album, because it's completely not. The best album out of the 90s from any thrash band. Euthanasia, not a very popular opinion, and I stand by that opinion, by the way. Gave it a 6 out of 10. Shorter video, once again, kind of similar to So Far So Good So What. People still kind of don't like the fact that I give it a low score, because it is considered classic. It is considered part of the classic lineup. I don't know how. It's totally commercial. I guess it's kind of dark, but it's detuned and some of the songs, but it's very, very commercial. It's very boring. If you like it, that's fine. I'm frustrated with it because it does have the golden lineup. I love the golden lineup. They're still playing really well, but the songs just aren't that good. Cryptic Writings. Listened to this album by myself, and I genuinely enjoyed it. Ran it by John, and he agreed. I didn't even say what, I said, what score would you give Cryptic Writings? And he said a 7. I said, me too. By the way, I forgot. Once again, he didn't agree with me about Euthanasia. He likes Euthanasia a lot. He said, fuck you, disliked the video, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Cryptic Writings. But yeah, we agreed. And the video is pretty fucking terrible. It's 15 minutes, and the editing is weird. This was still when I didn't know that much about editing, so I didn't just go, hey, what's up, guys? And then, bam, edit. And then this, and then edit. And I don't do that much anymore because I'm lazy, but I did like this weird, fading in and fading out thing where it was like, yeah, and then another beat would fade in, because it's like, you go back and watch it, it's like that. And that video at the time had more edits than any of my other videos. That was so edited because I wanted to say how good the album was. I didn't know that much about Megadeth, so I screwed up a few times and I had to go back and redo it. Overall, I remember it was a very frustrating shoot. And by the end, I was like, oh, I'm happy with it. And then I, of course, later on realized that my shirt was, fucked up. And, I got OCD about it for a while, but it is what it is. It's a boring review anyways, to be honest with you. It's too long for what it is. Blah, blah, blah. Moving on to Whisk. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the fact that I gave this album a 7. By the way, once again, John agreed with me. 7. I think the intro was funny. It was the whole little leave Britney alone thing, leave Dave alone. Thought that was pretty funny. It's kind of weird, actually. Looking back, it's actually quite weird. And I've actually had people tell me in other videos that have nothing to do with this video that I'm like the leave Britney alone person. And I'm just thinking man, imagine they saw that video. Anyways, the intro was pretty funny, pretty weird, but it set the tone for what I was going to do for the video. I forgot how long it was. I think it was a little bit longer, actually, than Cryptic Writings. I'm sorry, I keep messing with my hair. Just, ugh. It's a little bit longer, I think. I actually forgot what I said in that review. I didn't like the conclusion that I came up with, to be honest with you guys. I said something like, because it's Megadeth, I'm giving it a 7, but if it wasn't Megadeth, I'd give it higher, which is complete bullshit. It limits them for no reason. I probably, if I was going to do it nowadays, I'd probably give it a higher score, because I stand by it. I think it's a really good album. And it's that simple. You know what I'm saying? I like it. It's different. It's good. It's good. Anyways, World Needs a Hero. Watched this video the other day as well. One of the weirdest intros I've ever done. And not even weird like the Britney Spears weird. It was just, why was that? Why did I even do that? And that just goes to show you guys that I don't really think a lot of my videos out much. it was just me, like, setting up, going, the world needs a hero, a fucking hero, and then it went straight into it. I was just like, that wasn't even necessary. But anyways, the review, don't really remember it. It was good. It was a review. People didn't like it, I'm sure, because I gave it a low score. Did I say I gave Euthanasia a 6? Because I think I gave it a 5. It didn't matter. I gave this album a 6, World Needs a Hero. I just remember ranting about how the song at the end sounds exactly like Am I Evil? The rest of it sucks. That's it. Garbage. I explained vaguely how, Dave explained vaguely how this album symbolized a ship of something getting back on something. Anyways, Systems failed. I like the intro of this video. Probably my favorite intro, honestly, of all time that I've done. Which is me just completely ripping off South Park, by the way. Anyway, I still like it. As we all know, I'm a big rip-off. I rip off everything, right? Cool. Anyways, I'm happy with the review that I did. I don't really remember exactly what I did with it. A lot of people got mad at me because I called the drummer no-name drummer. And apparently he's a big deal. He played with Zappa. I'm a fan of Zappa, but the guy has had hundreds, actually, literally, of musicians in all of his bands that he's done throughout his career. So I wasn't very aware of who the guy was, so I called him a nameless drummer. And I can definitely understand why you guys got upset about that. But honestly, if you look at it through this perspective, it is my opinion, and to me, he was a nameless drummer. But he did a really good job compared to Dimmy Gigrasso and, of course, Sean Drover. And I gotta say, nowadays, I went back and listened to that album, and I'm enjoying it a lot, because of what we got after. I just think that it's a really good album. It's probably Megadeth's last really good album. If I was going to score it, I'd probably actually end up giving it a higher score these days. It's just really good. I think this was around... I really liked the vocal performance on this album a lot, and I don't think I talked about that because I didn't know it was coming next. But this was around the time that I think Dave redubbed a lot of the vocals on Rest in Peace, and a lot of people actually asked me about it on my Rest in Peace review. Are you talking about the original or the remaster? Because apparently a lot of people don't like the remaster, they like the original. And this is my opinion on all of that. I think the remaster, I think it's 2004 remaster of Rest in Peace, is 1,000 times better than the original Rest in Peace. The original Rest in Peace sounds nothing compared to how good the remaster sounds. I actually have gone back, I've listened to the original, and I've listened to the remaster. I'm very happy with the fact that Dave redid a lot of the vocals on Rest in Peace. It doesn't sound like he redid all of them, but some of them you can totally notice he redid. And his vocals were still good at this time. He cleaned up a lot of things. There was a lot of weird snarls in the original that just didn't sound right. It didn't flow with the album. It wasn't tight. Very similar to what he did on Killing, but with Killing Is My Business, it was much more loose and more, barbaric and, But on Rest in Peace, it's all about precision, and he went in and he cleaned that all up, and it sounds really, really good. I don't understand these people who say that the original is better. The original sounds so not heavy at all. Like, it doesn't sound heavy. The drums sound like cardboard boxes. The bass sounds a little bit too loud, and the guitars sound pretty loose. On the remaster, it's one of the best productions I've ever heard. It is so much heavier than that original. It's ridiculous, and the new vocal performances are fantastic. You guys are fucking crazy for thinking that the original is better than 2000 remaster. Let's hope that they don't remaster it again, because you're not going to sound like you guys. Yeah? But anyways, also the same thing for Countdown. I haven't clarified this, but I think the original Countdown isn't as good as the new version of the Countdown that I've been listening to. But anyways, it's not as big of a difference. So I was happy with that review. I think it was like 10 minutes or something. It was pretty good. United Abominations. Holy shit. First of all, people didn't like my opinion because I didn't like the album. A lot of people liked the album, and I stand by that opinion very, very firmly. I still do. I think that the first two songs are really good. The rest of it is forgettable, and everybody's talking about that song at the end. What is it, Burnt Ice? I keep listening to it because everybody says it's so good, but I don't hear whatever you think it is that's good about it. But I did not like that location that I filmed it in. I'll say that right now. At all. And I filmed a few videos in this location, like an Iced Earth review and an Anthrax review. On top of that, what the fuck was going on with my hair? I can't believe nobody said anything about that. Thanks, by the way. I had a beanie on, and I had like something sticking out of it, which was supposed to be my hair. Fucking terrible. That's all I remember about that review. Endgame was good. I think I gave it an 8.5, which is pretty accurate. I enjoyed the album quite a bit. It is, to me, still the best album that they've done recently. It's funny, actually, I was watching back on it, and I saw that I said that, to me, it was like the rest in peace of this generation. And unfortunately, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. I'm starting to see a lot of people saying that it is like the rest in peace of this generation. I kind of regret saying that because, honestly, that album has a few heavy, thrashy moments, but for the most part, it's actually pretty much heavy metal. It's not really thrash metal. Yeah, it's just heavy metal. Megadeth has not been a thrash band legitimately since Rest in Peace, I think. Countdown was a really good heavy metal album, and I think Endgame was a really good heavy metal album, and then they did some rock albums. So, kind of regret saying that, but I like the review. Some people, I had to actually re-upload that damn thing pretty recently. A lot of people were asking me, actually, not many people asked me, but some people did, why I re-uploaded it. Because it got taken down. I don't know why it got taken down. I think it was the artwork, something, so I just re-uploaded it. That simple. Yeah. And then 13. Of course, the infamous intro, right? That intro, by the way, for those of you, for all 5 of you out there that have seen that blooper video that I have on my channel somewhere now, took so long that when you actually start watching the original, the video, the review, which is still long, by the way, it's like 14 minutes, it's like halfway through my whole writing things down, but it ended up being really funny. I got all mad, and I didn't know what I was going to do exactly, once again, but I knew that something, I was going to like, but the review is good, and honestly, if I could re-review it these days, I'd probably give it a lower score, somewhere around a 6, maybe even 5.5, because that album is not aging well to me. First of all, it has a bunch of redone demos on it, and second of all, the sound is not very good. You cannot hear the bass really at all, which is a shame because it's Ellefson's first, his first album back in a long time, since 2001, 10 years, studio-wise, and the vocal performance is god-awful. I mean, this is right before Dave went down, I think a half step or so, because he can't sing that high anymore. But he was still trying to sing high on 13, so it sounded like garbage. And another thing is, they rushed that album. They had a 2-window opportunity to make that album happen, and they did it. I think it's also because they wanted to get out of that current record contract that they were under. They just wanted to get the fuck out of it and start going on the future. So it was rushed, and on top of that, they had to put 13 songs on it, which is a few more songs than usual. So we got, on top of demos and B-side-ish type things, or as Dragon Knight John likes to call them, Japanese edition songs, which is funny because it's true. The whole album is that, and it's garbage, if you get what I'm saying. So that's me looking back on my Megadeth reviews. Some people like these videos, some people don't. Some people think that I'm egotistical, arrogant, narcissistic, all that good shit. Well, duh, I am. I'm doing a video talking about videos that I did like barely a year ago. What the fuck is that, right? Anyways, but I did want to do this video because I've been listening to a lot of Megadeth lately, and the new Megadeth album is coming out in about a week. I don't know exactly when I'm going to post this. I'm trying to do it as fast as I can, and so I want to do a couple videos relating to Megadeth. This is one of them before the whole Megadeth thing comes out, and I'm probably going to do a review of Super Collider, and yeah, so I'll see you guys later.